Welcome to another broadcast of the Competitive Edge. Today, we are going to be embarking on a pretty interesting dialogue or conversation on this topic branding for beginners. The reason we are going to be doing that deep dive into this topic is largely because we see so many millions of businesses across the world. They are starting, but they are failing because there are major gaps in terms of branding. So today I will do a deep dive into that. And alongside me, I have my colleague, who is Paul. And Paul is the expert in terms of helping businesses to access capital. One of the other challenges that we see many businesses are faced with is that they go through tremendous challenges to access capital. Now, we see many businesses, and from our experience, and regardless of where you are in the world, you might be in a developing economy, a middle income economy, a developed economy, we still see common challenges that some of those businesses are faced with. And today, what we will try to do is to speak to the issue that can help you overcome some of those challenges. Paul will speak to about access to capital, and I will definitely do that deep dive into branding for beginners. But Paul, just before I get into today's program, I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself, and you can talk to us a little bit about some of the financial instruments that is available at your disposal. All to you, Frank and Paul.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Paul from Patriot Business Finance Consultants, and financial instruments that are available would be equipment financing through equipment leasing. That's the way the largest companies in the world finance their equipment. And with leasing, you do own the equipment. Sounds misleading. If you're in business, you probably know. If you're not, you might not know. But the equipment leasing is just another way to take ownership for a business. It's the best way because you get tax advantages, easier qualification, and less money down. So, real estate financing, which would be commercial and investment properties, not owner occupied residential, but commercial and investment properties, we can help you with that. Lowest cost of money, best terms and conditions. That's what we provide through our network of lenders. Okay, and then there's cash flow products, factoring, like your accounts receivable. If your cash flow is slow, well, your accounts receivable are one of your best assets. It's your money, but you're waiting 30, 60, 90 days for it. You don't have to. Factoring takes care of that. And boy, there's probably three or four other financial programs that we offer. You can see those on our website, patriotbfc.com. And if you do want to work with us, then please direct message Gary and also email me at paul@patriotbfc.com. Okay.
All right, thanks for that share. And Paul, what Paul has just said is that you may be a rising star in business and you need access to capital. We represent over 100 different financial institutions, and we are certain that regardless of where you are in the stage of your business, we can help you access the much needed capital to grow and scale. Now, I want to shift the attention to today's topic, and why I want to shift attention here because it is important. We are seeing millions of businesses are failing due to poor branding. But what exactly is branding? I'll talk about that just now. We see millions of businesses are also failing due to poor marketing. I don't think time will permit me to go into marketing today, but you know, I'll do a high level overview of that. And these are the statistics. We're seeing that 20.8% of business startups fail in the first year. We're seeing 40% of business startups that are failing by the second year, and 49.9% fail by the third year. The statistics is changing. This number of failure used to take place within a 5 year cycle. It's now taking place within a 3 year cycle. And there are reasons for that. So, what we do the research because our interest is not just to put monies in your pocket and not help you to effectively manage that money to optimize the results that you want. And what we are seeing is that you may have the money, but if you are not fully prepared and understand what branding represents, you're going to fail. Now, when we talk of branding, we're talking about your business, how you want your business to be known, liked, and trust. Where very often we talk about the know, like, and trust, but we're certain that sometimes hearing these terms can be very abstract to you. What I will attempt to do today is to unlock and remove some of that abstract. So when we're looking at branding, there's three important concepts that I want you to hold in mind. One is what we call the brand objectivity, and I'll talk about that briefly just now. Third is the brand symbolism, and third is the brand marketing. Now, let me briefly just look at this. What exactly is brand objectivity? When we talk about building a brand, we are talking about research and data analytics. You need information if you're building a brand. For example, if even you are building the brand from your experience, from introspection, because you're a part of a large Afrocentric group, or you may be part of a large Indo group, or you're a part of a large Hispanic group. You are a part of this group, and because you understand the dynamics of that group, you understand the needs and the wants, the pain points of that group, you are now building a brand to satisfy that group's specific needs. Regardless of how you're going about building that brand, you need data, you need information. So when we talk about the brand objectivity, it's first of all about data collection, because data collection, data analytics is about research and data analytics. The reason you're going to be collecting this type of information, it is because it's going to really help you to understand the ideal client based on data. But just before I move to the ideal client based on data, there's a couple of things that I want to say very quickly. We see that many rising stars in business, you're using speculation as a way of data, a means of data to make expert opinion. And in business, you want to take the speculation out of the door. Speculation has absolutely no room in business, particularly when you're taking capital. You're going to be going to Paul, you're going to be asking for capital, you're going to be getting capital, and you're using speculation to build your business model. That business is going to fail. So the reason we're going to emphasize research, because research will help you to understand what is secondary market research and what is primary market research and the importance of it. And the importance of research is to collect information about your ideal client. Because again, whether you're building that brand from experience or you're building that brand based on research, you need data, you need information. And this is hence the importance of collecting that data. It is based on collecting the data. You are now in that position of strength to predetermine how you're going to add value with your brand and how you're going to fix problems with your brand. Whatever products or service you're going to be innovating, it must be able to add value and fix problems. And you don't know how to add value and fix problems unless you have the data, or unless you think that speculation is going to get you through the door, is going to get you through the know, like, and trust. You need data. These are what we're saying to you is to really help you to be more strategic with your investment dollars. The last thing that we want you to do when we allocate capital to you is for you to fail. The failure rate is high. I've just explained it. And the failure rate is high because you don't have all of the information. All right, so I trust that you have taken away some of what I'm saying here. Now, brand leaders must be able to deliver quality consistently above and beyond the expectation of the ideal client. So, brand objectivity is designed to achieve all of this. But you don't know if you're delivering quality because you don't know the ideal client. You don't know how to deliver consistently quality because, again, you don't know. You don't know how to deliver above and beyond the expectation of the ideal client because, again, you don't have data. You don't have data. And you're going to fail if you don't have data. You're going to get capital and it's going to be mismanaged because you're using an emotional decision in your investment processes. So, in building a brand, you want to build a brand based on what we are calling your brand objectivity. What is the objective of the brand? You want to be very clear about that. All right. Symbolism, I'm going to go very briefly into this today, is the unique features by which that brand is going to be identified. In putting a brand to the market, you want to clearly put symbols on that brand that is unique to you, is unique to your company. And from the time the public sees it, they have a clear mental picture that this is Adidas, this is Nike, this is Walmart, this is Target. You want to be able to bring the symbol to associate with the brand so the public now has a clear idea who they're buying from. All right. Based on how you are able to establish your brand traits, your brand, build your brand as a personality, the symbol now is what's going to help the public to identify that. The last concept I'm going to go to here for now is the concept that we call the brand marketing. And what exactly is the brand marketing? So you've taken the time, you've built a strong brand, you have done the research, you understand the pain points of your ideal client, you now understand how to add value, how to fix problems. You and your management team, you have the ability based on data to deliver quality consistently above and beyond the expectation of the target market. You know all of this. What's next? The next step is you have to be able to market yourself. You have to be able to use data again to position your products and services, to position your brand in front of the ID client. Again, I'm going through all of this because as private equity investors, as people who want to get you access to capital, we're saying to you that if you don't know your brand, if you don't know your financials, you are going to fail. So the last part here is brand marketing. And this is all about how you are going to use data to build visibility, to build reach, to create impact. From impact is to create client conversion, to cash flow optimize, to build confidence, trust, and credibility. This is a cycle of things that has to be done. And if you don't know it, you're going to fail again. Now, before I open up to Paul again and ask him to talk to us a little bit more about finance, I want to point you in a direction where you can get some of our books that can help you to get some of this information in which we are talking about. Now, what I want to encourage you to do is to go to our website. One of our website is the bestseller portal. Now, to get to the bestseller portal, you need to just type the information on your screen, bestsellerportal.org. And when you get to this portal, you can click on products. Now, when you click on products, what I want you to do next is to click on ebooks. On your left-hand side, the drop-down left-hand side, you will see ebooks. Now, when you go to ebooks, we have multiple books here on display. We have about 11 books here, 11 volume of master the sales communication process. You see, a lot of legwork has been done to ensure that you, the rising star in business, you have enough information, enough support to win in business. We want you to have the information. So when you go to the website, I want you to get volume one, which is Master Sales Communication Process Volume One. That book is going to go deep into a lot of what I'm talking about today. It's an audiobook, so you could listen to it. You can put it into your car, you can have it on your headphone, and you can listen to this content. All right. And you could repeat that process until the information actually sticks. All right. Now, I want to move you over to something else that you information on the bestseller portal. I just spoke about visibility. Now, we are building a global network at the moment. And what we can start with for you is producing your ads. So when you go to the bestseller portal, whether you want to add for radio, for television, for newspaper, for social media platform, we provide all of that to you. So you can go to this website, spend some time navigating the website and see the wide range of technical and strategic support that you can get from us on this program. We want you to win. We have years of experience doing what we are doing, and we certainly welcome the opportunity to interface with you, rising stars in business. Paul, I want to come back to you. Can you talk to us a bit about the BFC? I know that you are very instrumental behind building the business finance consultant. And along with that, I would love to also hear you perhaps take a single financial instruments and perhaps walk the audience through in terms of what we can do for them in terms of access to capital. All to
Okay.
you, Paul.
Thank you, Gary. Sounds good. Well, BFC stands for Business Finance Consultants, which is what we are. And we want to work with 100 new business finance consultants. When I say work with, what I mean by that is train you to be the best in that field. So, if you think that you can't do it, you're wrong. Okay, you can do this. If you think you're not good in sales, don't worry about it. We'll help you overcome that with training, full support, full training. And what you'll be offering are solutions for businesses, money, financial solutions for financial problems. What would their problems be? Well, they're all always the situation is everybody wants the least expensive money. You'd rather pay X amount percentage interest rate than higher, and that is what we do. Least expensive money first is our goal, and we can do that because we got such a wide network of lenders to do this with. Okay. Um, like I said, full training, full support. We will teach you, and this is a high-paying career. If your average commission is 2,000, 3,000, 4, $5,000 in that range, just ask yourself this question: how many times can you do deals per year? As many times as you can. Just keep stacking the money for your family. Your family deserves it. Okay. Uh, you know, hourly positions and jobs, not a hey, it's the world. We've all worked them. And if that is all a person, if that is what a person wants to do and they're very happy in their career, because there's a lot of high paying careers, nurses, car sales. I mean, there's a lot of high paying careers out there, right? But there's also a lot of careers that are not high paying. And if you're trapped in one of those, well, then wouldn't you rather make 3, 5, 10 times the amount of money? Your family wants you to, your kids want you to. You can give them so much more and you can help so many more people when you've got excess cash flow. And you can invest that money and just grow your wealth so that 3 generations down, while they're standing in that house, your great great grandkids are going to look at that picture on the wall, that luxurious velvet painting, full size of you, and they're going to tell their friends, "That's the guy who made it happen," or "That's the lady who."
Yep, yep,
Yeah. So this is
yep.
all possible. It's all possible, and we want to work with you and pour all of what we got into you, and let's all make money together. So that is the BFC program. Direct message Gary if you're interested. email me, paul@patriotbfc.com, and let's do this. Okay, so a specific financial finance program. Well, I don't know. Let's talk about sale leaseback. There's equipment leasing, which your business needs a piece of equipment, and any equipment works. Anything that is essential for your business to profit, make it more efficient. I mean, the equipment is what you need, and it could be a bulldozer. If you own a hotel, all the furniture in the rooms, that's equipment. So computers, whatever you need, you're going to do one of three things. You're either going to pay cash, which don't do that. Keep your cash, because keeping your cash makes your balance sheet look a lot better. And that's what you want. You don't want a cash poor business. Getting financing looks really good when you got a stash of cash in the bank. Okay. So don't spend cash for your equipment. Don't go to the bank. You might say, I've been working with my bank for 30 years. They love me. They're going to take care of me. No, they don't. And they'll take care of you. They'll do their best for you. They'll offer you the programs they have available, but that's it. And let's talk about if there's difficult credit. Well, they can't do nothing about that. If you are 1 point, 10 points, whatever points below their minimum threshold for credit score, they don't have any discretion. They just have to say, sorry, Joe, we can't get this done for you. Okay. Contrast that with Patriot Business Finance Consultants. We have lenders who know and understand that the world is what it is. People have problems and they need to be able to rebound. So there are lenders out there who have no problem doing difficult credit deals. Uh, but let me get back to sale leaseback. So equipment leasing is you buy equipment for your business, you lease it, make the payments. At the end of the payment stream, you own it. It's an equipment lease. Equipment leasing has tax advantages, costs less money to get approved for, and credit requirements. Best credit gets the lowest cost of money. Difficult credit absolutely can get approved with some money down. We'll walk you through all that. So if you don't think you can get approved or you've been declined, well, don't give up just yet. Give us a shot. Let us make it happen for you, because I know that we can. Okay. But let's zone in, because I keep dancing around. Let's zone in on
It's
sale,
okay.
right? Sale leaseback. You need working capital. You need cash for a purpose. Uh, how do you get it? Well, lines of credit are available, certainly. But sometimes if you have a business loan, and a business loan is different than business finance, a business loan covers all assets of your business. So if all assets of your business are spoken for, what do you do? Right? Okay. So sale leaseback, you can pull working capital out of a piece of equipment that you own free and clear, or with a low balance. Let's say you've got a semi truck, uh, 3, 4 years old, value on it $110,000. I'm just throwing a guess. Value's 110. How much cash can you pull out of something, a piece of equipment that's valued at 110,000? Typically, you can pull 40 to 50% of the value out in cash. Use it. You determine what the term is. It can be 2 years, it can be 3 years, it can be 4 years or 5 years. We recommend going longer term to get a less expensive payment monthly. And there's no prepayment penalties on these things. So if you want to pay it off early, not a problem. But that will allow you to pull cash out of equipment that you already own. So that's the sale lease back. There's so many others, Gary, that we can talk about if you need working
Yeah,
pulling out of real
yeah,
estate.
yeah. We're gonna go through some more just now, but again, I just want to emphasize some of what you would have said. Becoming a BFC, a business finance consultant, is going to position you to earn unlimited amount of money, and I say the term unlimited because your ceiling to earn is not based on a salary that we're going to allocate to you. Your ceiling to earn is going to be based on how well you internalize the information that we're going to give you and how well you apply yourself at what you're doing. And we're certain that the information that you're going to get is going to empower you to apply yourself as a genius, as Paul would say, like a ninja. We want you to win. So there's massive amount of monies for you to earn. And we will talk to you as time progresses about our partnership program, where you will be owning a piece of a franchise. And there's a lot that we're going to go into. We're not going to get into it now, but just reach out to us and become a BFC if you're in the US, 50 states. We want to work with you. If you're in the Caribbean, we can bring all the financial instruments to you now, but we're going to bring some. We want to work with you. So I love what you would have said. Again, you're in business, you're a rising star. There's monies available to you. All right. You don't have to struggle through that process. I want to also emphasize another point because I'm talking again about branding for beginners. If you don't know how to brand yourself, you're going to be fail. You're going to fail. We often talk about the know, like, and trust factors of doing business. You want to be known, you want to be liked, you want to be trusted. And if you don't have this, it undermines your sales. But guess what research is showing? Research is showing is that you, the rising star in business, you have limited knowledge and control of how you are going to be known. You have limited knowledge of this. You have limited knowledge and limited control of how you're going to be liked. You have limited knowledge and limited control of how you're going to be trusted. Now, it's not that you don't have the database to control how you influence people, but you're not taking full advantage of it. And you are not taking full advantage of the knowledge base and the control base of how you're going to be influencing people to know, like, and trust you. And you're not taking advantage of this because you don't have research and data analytics. Your ability to influence people to like you is going to be largely based on your ability to satisfy people's needs, wants, and expectations, their dreams, hopes, and aspirations. But if you are not doing research, you're not collecting data, you're not analyzing data, you're not taking the time to understand people's pain points, you're not innovating products and services to satisfy people's pain point, how are they going to like you? Because you got a cute face, nice personality, cute shape. In business, people want more than that. They want results. All right. So when you collect the sensitive data, analyze the sensitive data, and ensure that the business is responsive to data, it's going to set you up to be more successful. Now, I want to go a little deeper into a couple of things because very often we talk about branding, and very often, again, we talk in abstract. And what I want to do is to take away some of the abstract realities from branding and make it very simple for you to understand. So the next time you think about branding, this is what I want you to think about. You can look at Paul and you can see that Paul is a person. And what makes Paul Paul is that he has a personality. All right, he has a personality. He has a face. He has distinguishable features that helps you to identify with Paul. Yes, he may be funny at times, but in building your brand, you want to ask yourself, what personality I want my brand to have? Yes, your brand, your business need to have a personality. This is the easy way in which you can see it. So when you build a brand, the personality must be, how does the ambience allow your customer to feel? How does the aesthetic allow the customer to feel? How the customer relational, allows the customer to feel? How does public relation allows that customer to feel? Your brand need to have a personality. And when you start thinking about building a brand along the line of creating a personality for your brand, there is where you likely to win. And let me give you some tips on how you can do this. In sales, there's three levels of sales. And what you want to do before you start any of this sales process, you must ask yourself, how am I going to define my before the sales process? Your before the sales must have a process. All right. You're not going public, you're not getting visible unless you clearly define how you want it, your personality to be. All right. What level of impact you want to create before the sales? How do you want people to think about you before that sales take place? Now, before the sales take place, you have tremendous advantage here because you can do things that, maybe contrary. You can create an impression at this particular stage because no one knows. But guess what? There's a concept that we call the during the sales process, and you also want to know that whatever you're saying before the sales even take place, that when that customer comes into your environment during that sales, they're experiencing exactly what you say it's going to be. So the way you set out your ambience, your aesthetic, from the time they walk into your business to feel better than home, you know, they feel just relaxed because the aroma, the feel, the smiles, the look of that environment is something that they want to be in. And I can share a story with you. Sometime last year we did a training with a local company after many years. I walked into their operation, I think was sometime this week. Oh my God, and they had smiling faces and bright eyes looking at me all over. And you just felt welcome in that environment. And it reminds me of what we talk about also. We talk about the power of customer care. We talk about customer care is something that can make or break an organization. And I'm happy that many of them took that information and own it. You now have to ask yourself if this is the personality you want your business to have, because it is this type of personality that is going to cause the public to know you, like you, trust you. So you want to ask yourself, what is the personality of my brand? See, your brand has a person. In fact, your business has a separate and legal identity. Give it a personality. You need to do this. This is what's going to set you up to win. Last concept that I want to go into here in terms of the sales process is the after sales process. You want to ask yourself, how do I want to be known with my after sales processes? And this is a global scenario. Businesses across the world, once you make that sale and you collect the funds, you hand over the goods, your sales process done. I got to use Caribbean language here. Your sales process done. No, 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 no. You have to also ask yourself, how do I want to be known and like and feel with my after sales processes? Are you, reaching out to the customers after the sales taking place? Are you evaluating if they achieve their satisfaction? Are you evaluating if you deliver above their expectation or below their expectation, or how you can tweak your sales processes to ensure that you deliver value consistently above and beyond their expectation? What is your brand personality saying? You want to win in business and you're not thinking about this. So this is branding for beginners, and you want to know all of this. All right, I trust they've taken away a whole lot of the abstract terminologies of what branding is, because every branding expert is going to give you their interpretation of what branding is. I'm not saying that they are wrong, but I'm saying that you need to hear it in a way that is user friendly. So you could immediately go back to your drawing board and say, what personality I want my brand, my business to have. And that's going to set you up to win. That personality must be aligned to the ideal client. All right. And that's why you need data. All right. So there's much more that I want to go into here, but I'm going to pause because I know that, I want you to learn in bite-sized chunks so you're not getting, overloaded with information. But I'm trusting that you're going to go back to your drawing board, take this information and say, what personality I want my brand to have. Paul, any thoughts before you go into the some other financial instruments?
Yeah, I think absolutely branding and marketing are extremely important because they cause you to make more money. And your financing is based on your revenue. So if you're not making enough, your financing is limited. And everybody wants their business to grow as as strongly as it can. And you have to use all of the tools, all of the tactics, all the strategies. Everything has to be done. You can't really forget two or three things. You just got to do everything. So it's between A to Z. And to make your business successful, you have to do everything in between there. You
Yeah.
can't just leave a few out. So yeah, that's would be my take on what you're talking about today.
I love what you're saying, and I'm going to come right back to you to talk a bit about finance again. Because we know how business need finance, and on this platform, we want businesses to know that they can access capital. I love what you said there, Paul. Is managing a business successfully, you need to understand what we are calling the business success ecosystem. There's an ecosystem. It's not just accounting. It's not just public relation. It's not just marketing. It's a range of things that needs to be considered for you to be successful. It's not just access to capital, because you can get access to capital and fail. That is why we are doing what we are doing today, because we don't want you to fail. We want you to be successful. All right. So I love those points that you would have made, Paul. Is a broad range of things that needs to be understood and applied. Paul, can I ask you now to perhaps tell us about another financial instruments, perhaps factoring or any other financial instrument that you think our audience should know that is available to us and is available to them because we want to help them. Can you just chime into that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Well, let me start off by saying if you're watching this, we want to work with you. So quit waiting. Contact us. We can set you up better than anybody else can set you up. Better than your bank. You've known them for 30 years. Don't be fooled. They don't love you. They just want to do a transaction with you. They don't get paid. They get paid hourly. So relationships, yeah, they're probably important to them, but they're not as important as they are to me because, we only get paid when we get a job done. We don't get paid hourly. So therefore, we do our best all the time so that you want to work with us all the time for now and forever forward, right? We want to be your lifetime financing partners. So let's talk about factoring, cash flow. If you are a manufacturer or you deliver a service, so you're either delivering a product or a service, of course, in every business. But if you're doing business to business and you're delivering a product or a service, when you deliver it, you're giving them an invoice that says, pay me in 30 days, net 30 days. That's the way it is. And if you don't do that, you're not being competitive with the others who will do it. And everybody does it. So, so where does that leave your cash flow? Well, I mean, if the business is not drastically growing or just kind of like sitting there, you're not making enough deals and you want to make a lot of deals. Okay. I mean, if you're not making a lot of deals, I guess you could wait for it because your expenses aren't that high. They're fixed. But let's look at it this way. You're a growing business, right? Your your business is outgrowing your cash flow. You still have to buy the raw materials. You still have to pay the people to build the product or perform that service that you offer. You got to pay their salary. You got to pay the taxes. It goes on and on. You got to pay everything, and you know what everything is. You're putting out a lot of money, and and your cash flow's tight. Maybe you can't even make payroll, or you're worried about it, but you've still got a bunch of money out there that's owed to you. Let's say you got 30, 40 invoices that are worth, you name it, that tens of thousands of dollars, thousands, whatever. You got a bunch of invoices and you're owed that money. That's your money. Why wait for it? Why wait for it? Okay. How do you get a hold of it? It's called factoring. We will set you up in it. And we don't charge you. Factoring company pays us. So there's no out of pocket for you to work with us. And we work with some of the best finance companies. Usually factoring companies are private money. I've got one in particular that I love working with, and I like working with him because the guy, his name's Don. Don, he looks normal, but if you heard his voice, he looks like a New Yorker. He looks like he'd be about 5'9", 5'10", with dark glasses, slick back black hair, mustache, like a mob guy, right? That's what he sounds like, but he's not. The dude is super nice, but I'm going a little bit crazy on that stuff. Yeah, factoring is your money. So how does that work? You sell your account. We set you up. We form that relationship with you and the factoring company. And then when you issue an invoice, and you can cash in on the ones that you got sitting there right now as well. But let's say your invoice is worth 50,000 bucks. Let's do easy math. $10,000 is an invoice. You will get 80% of the invoice advanced to you. That's called the advance. So 80%, that's $8,000 advanced. That's your working capital to keep on going, right? What about the other $2,000? Well, that will come to you when um, your client pays the invoice. So your client pays that invoice, that $2,000 comes through the factoring company back to you. You've already got 80% advanced. You've got money to work with. You got that other $2,000 that's still owed to you. When your customer pays the invoice, that $2,000 comes back to you minus the fee. Now, what is the fee? 2 or 3 points. Depends on how much you commit to with annual volume. If you commit to like $100,000 annually, which is a very small factoring deal, if you commit to only factoring $100,000 worth of invoices, then your fee will be higher. You probably count on 3 points. Okay. If you commit to $1 million of invoices factored annually, then you're looking more like 1.75, maybe even 1.5. And if the dollar amount goes up, then you're looking at even like 1%. So to sum it up, you're selling your invoice, which is an asset for your business. It's worth money. It is money. You're selling your invoices for a discount. You're not borrowing against them. That's a different type of thing that we can do, but you're selling it. And here's the good part. Since you sold it, it's called non-recourse. If your client does not pay that bill ever, well, the factoring company is not going to come back to you and try to get that 80% advance that they gave you. Non-recourse. They'll deal with it. They'll chase the money if that happens. So that's one cash flow program. Your accounts receivable are certainly probably one of your greatest assets because it's money that's owed to you. Sell them for a discount, increase cash flow, and grow your business.
Wow, that was a lot, my friend. And I really love what you said. And if you recognize what Paul is doing here, Paul has so far examined about four different financial instruments. And what Paul is actually saying to you, sometimes what you don't know can hurt you, because there you are struggling to access capital. And there, Paul is saying to you that there are multiple financial instruments, but because you don't know it, you're going to struggle to access the necessary fund to grow and scale your business. And Paul, this is exactly why on this platform I would say to people that you need to understand financial instruments. In your department, perhaps you need to have a specialist that understand debt, equity, credit, creative finance, and hard money lending, and all the other financial instruments that you're talking about. Now, if they don't have a department head that looks at this, they perhaps also need to align themselves with experts like yourself in our team to help them along that process. I want to also say this, it's not just about understanding financial instruments. It's also about understanding how to access, how to leverage, and how to mitigate. Because if you don't understand these four things, believe me, you're not just leaving crumbs on the table, you might be leaving the entire cake on the table, or a larger part of that cake on the table. So, Paul, I really love what you would have said, and I trust that the audience are really listening in. and recognizing that they don't have to struggle any longer when it comes to access to capital. But Paul, I want to go back over to the importance of branding, because the importance of this for beginners is so important. And again, I know that very often you may hear the know, like, and trust factor, but what it is, I've just talked a lot about, how you want to be known, but let's go a little deeper into how you want to be liked, because I want you to have a face to this. I want you to understand what this is. Now, you want to be in control of how your narrative is being articulated, because if you're not in control of this, you will be controlled by public sway. So you need to understand your value offer. You need to understand where you're adding value. You need to understand where you're fixing problems. You need to understand the personality of your brand, and you need to articulate it effectively. So you need to put yourself in that position where you are a master in terms of shaping how you're going to be liked. And how can you be a master at this? You need to spend time to define your ideal client based on data. We call it the absolute buyer data marker. I'm not going to go deep into this. Get the books. Your books is going to help you to get that information. I'm only giving you a high level overview. You can control how you're shaping public like of your value offer by taking the time to understand your ideal client. And to understand it, you need to do the research. So you have secondary research, you have primary research, and we talk about speculative data, because we have people, because they may be an expert in some field, they're using speculation as expert opinion. In business, you can't do that. You need data. If you use speculation as an expert opinion to make business decisions, the reason why so many rising stars are failing. 20.8% in the first year, 40% in the second year, and 49.9% in the third year. Can we reverse that? Yes, use data. I know it sounds I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong. I'm just emotional. I want you guys to win. Now, you need to get data. There's three types of data that you need to focus on. And I know, again, it sounds like abstract when you hear, what is demographic data? Demographic data is what's going to help you to understand what age group you're targeting, and what are the likes of that age group, what gender you're targeting, what are specific needs of that gender. If you're targeting people based on marital status or income bracket, you need to know. Now, I'm not saying that one person in the organization need to know this. An organization is built by an organization chart. All right. And when you look at the organization chart, you have different expertise, and you should have an expertise on the organization chart that understand branding, perhaps exclusively branding, because it's a very deep and intricate subject matter. Is your business personality. All right. And you don't play with your business personality. You need to give it proper representation. So understanding this type of data, then we talk about the psychographic data. The psychographic data is that predeterminants, because when you understand psychographics, big companies use it all the time. You understand exactly how to motivate the desired public response because you have data. All right, you have data. Now, if your department head on your organization chart, you don't have this type of expertise, I want to encourage you to reach out to us. All right, we have experts on our team. We have players who have worked with Fortune 500 companies and continue to work with Fortune 500 companies, and we can help you. And the last is geographic data. They speak about four things: local, national, regional, and international. How big is your market? And I want to talk just a little bit about this. Some people stay small because you're just thinking local. But with us, because we're going to be coming alongside you as partners and helping you to access capital. And when we come alongside you, perhaps as equity partners, private equity investors, we're not coming because we want to just make some monies from you. We're coming, yes, we want to help you, but we want you to think big. We want you to move from global, from local, international, into regional, and international. We want to make you into a unicorn. All right, into a unicorn. We want to make you into, I use a Caribbean term here, Paul, into a cash cow. A cash cow. We want you to maximize your disposable income. All right. And we have the expertise on our team that can really drive you and propel you to that next level of development. Why think small when the world is just a global village? And you have the expertise that's going to help you to navigate the rough terrains of doing business. Why think small? Paul, talking about thinking small, can you help the audience to understand the low and the high of capital that they can access? Because I know we often talk about capital, but we don't say, okay, it's $10 or $20 is the maximum. Can you help us to understand that a little bit? So they get a picture that we can help them attain any amount of money. If one company can do it, we can go to multiple and help them access the capital to grow and scale their business. All to you, Paul.
Okay. Well, like you said, think big. Why not get it all? Why want to stay tiny? Your girlfriend doesn't like tiny people, right? So
Oh my God.
watch
Hey,
this first.
you got the
Okay.
symbol. I got
Yeah.
caught. And you learned too much from Brandon, buddy.
Yeah. Well, maybe you ought to cut this part. I say the worst things at the worst times. But let's talk about thinking big. Okay. Financing. What type of financing is available? And this type of financing is available because you can grow into needing this type of financing. So, equipment leasing. It's called micro leasing. We don't like to do it, but we'll do it. If you need a $5,000 piece of equipment, no problem. But that's micro leasing. That's tiny. Usually our minimum is $40,000 and up. But here are the lender's parameters. Some of them are 40,000 minimum, some will be a little bit less, some are a little bit more. But let's just use 40,000 up to $10 million in equipment financing. You just have to be that type of business that plugs into needing $10 million worth of equipment financing. And I know you want to. Why would you not want to? Why would you go into business wanting to not be that and wanting to stay small, tiny, and local? There ain't nothing wrong with that if that's what you want, but why would you? Because you want to make more for your family. So the range of financing is available with equipment financing and also with real estate financing for commercial and investment purposes. 40 typically they're 50,000 and up, but 50,000 up to the tens of millions of dollars. If you don't think that you can imagine yourself being the person who's signing for a $2, $3 million real estate deal, $10 million real estate deal. Well, you want to be that person. Try to aspire to be that because if you're doing that, you're gonna make a lot of money. You need to be, those are the things you really want to do to be that guy that your great grandkids look at on the velvet painting and say, that's the person who made it happen. So the range of financing is large. Then let's talk about capital raises. Securities and Exchange Commission compliant capital raises. If somebody talks to you about raising capital for you, you got to know that they're licensed and they should be telling you and they should be talking about SEC compliance. Okay. Uh, the big things that can happen to you. It happened to me just from trying and some contacts, and I know it can happen to you too. I know it can. I never thought I'd be working on $60 million capital raises. I didn't plan on it. And let me tell you how it happened. I pushed a button on LinkedIn to connect because she was in hemp. She called me an hour later. She says, I got a decorticator to finance. Well, it turned out to be more than just one piece of equipment to finance. It turned out they need to build a factory. And that took me down the path where I had to find somebody to work with because when you raise capital, not equipment financing, not real estate financing, we're fully licensed for everything that we do. But when you raise capital from investors, debt and equity, then you have to be licensed and experienced. I'm not. But what did that put me in the position to do? It put me in the position to go find a group to connect with. I spent a whole week calling people, Some were nice, some were rude. They were throwing dollar amounts around. I didn't know if they were accurate, but I kept researching and studying. The following week, I bumped into an attorney that I hadn't seen for 15, 20 years. And I said, "Here's my problem. What do you recommend?" And he said, "I got the right group to introduce you to." And he was correct. We got introduced to some guys in Cleveland, Ohio. They're great. Early 70s, been big business people since the 80s. They've raised $9 billion in growth capital and startup money in 16 years in business. Those are the types of big things that can happen to you if you try and if you are able to recognize what's going on when it happens. So much is possible. Again, I we were in business before that happened, and we're doing large equipment leases, but not that large, and it can happen. So try to make it happen. You can do it.
All right, thanks for that share, Paul. And you see, that's why we often host some soft content because we want you to grow big in business, but we are fully aware that people can never grow beyond their sense of self. All right, so something you got to fix that sense of self and become a big thinker now. And when you become a big thinker, we come alongside you and we give you that extra push to accelerate the level of success that you're going to attain in business. I love what Paul say, there's no reason for you to stay small. All right. When you have the mentorship, the coach, and the support community that's going to help you to go global. Now, I want to come right back to Brandon because today it's all about Brandon, but we're bringing it alongside capital because you need capital to grow and scale. We talk about trust and exactly how do we build trust in your brand? How do we build trust? We often talk about the know, like, and trust factor, but how do you build trust as a beginner in building in business? You can buy trust over the counter. Yes, you may have some big personalities endorsing you, but after the endorsement, if you're not consistent with the promise, you're going to embarrass those person who endorsed you. So how do you build trust? Now, you build trust by do it's based on your ability to deliver value and fix a problem consistently above and beyond the expectation of the consumers. That's how you build trust. And this is why we talk about the personality of your brand. You want to ensure that you first of all know the personality of your business. You want to second ensure that you have the human resources, the right human resources to execute in representing the personality of your brand, not execute on representing the personality of the brand today and tomorrow, and then the next few days they give up on it, and then they feel like it another couple of days and they come back. Your brand has a personality, and the customer is buying into your brand because of the personality of your brand. And you want to be able to ensure that that brand is showing up consistently every time, delivering value, fixing a problem consistently above and beyond the consumer expectation. There is where you get trust. There is where you start to get referral because the consumer now like you. They know you, they like you, they trust you. You're going to refer others over to you now because you have established yourself as a company. Hey, you need capital. Hey, whatever, what capital you need, debt, equity, factoring, we can get that for you. In what period of time? The shortest period of time. We didn't talk about that, Paul. Can you just chime in a little bit here to really help the audience to understand how serious we are? Because we're not telling you come to us and wait 6 months or 9 months or a year to give birth. We're telling you a short period. Can you talk to us the window of capital access?
Yeah, definitely. Depends on what you want. Depends on what the finance program is. So factoring takes about a week to get set up with a factoring relationship. You got to provide information on your customers and on your business. So just we collect that information. We give you a list of what it is, put it together, send it to them. It moves quickly. Let's talk about equipment financing. You want that new Bobcat, bulldozer, semi truck, computers, whatever. As fast as you move, we match your speed. Okay. I mean, if you don't get us the information we need, and what do we need for that? If it's less than $250,000 equipment cost, and you've been in business for 3 years or more, and you got good to excellent personal credit, you're making money, well, that's a one-page application. We don't need taxes, bank statements, stuff like that. If it's more than $250,000, or if there's difficult credit, then we're going to need what's called a full lease package. That would be 2 years taxes, personal and business, 3 months bank statements, personal and business, invoice for the piece of equipment that you want, a personal financial statement, and an application. We send all this stuff to you with a list and let you know what we need. As quickly as you can get that back to us, we're moving quick. So once we get a application or a full lease package, if you get that to us within 1 or 2 days, we'll submit it to the lender. A lot of times, 4 hours later, that's their window. Typically, is 4 hours. We've got a term sheet. End of day. If it's a very, very large or a unique deal, then the next day we're going to have a term sheet for you. We'll email it to you, go over it with you, make sure you're good with it, and then you sign it and it's closed. So an equipment financing can get done in a week. It moves quickly, very quickly. Real estate financing depends on what type it is. I mean, we could 2 weeks is very fast for closing a real estate deal. A lot of my lenders tell us that they can get it done in 2 weeks. Typically, I see it getting done in 2.5, 3 weeks. I've never gotten one done in 2 weeks. That's the truth. I'll tell you what they say. But real estate financing, purchase, get the appraisal, get the title work done, move quickly. If everybody moves quickly, we're closing this thing in 2.5, 3 weeks for real estate financing. The thing that takes a long time is raising capital, like doing an actual Securities and Exchange Commission compliant capital raise. That is something, and it depends because there's levels of that. Like if you're an existing business with good, strong financials, well, then that type of financing can be done in a month, 2 months to raise growth capital. All right. If you're, let's contrast that to you're building a brand new, you're building a factory in a startup, unknown startup industry. How long does that take? Well, it's going to take 1, 2, 3. It's going to take every bit of 4 months to create the paperwork. If you're building a business plan, which is a prospectus, and a prospectus is needed to raise money like that, you're building something ground up. So that being the case, you're building sales ground up. There's a lot to that. So on contract, typically for creating a prospectus, typically that's a 3-month thing. And then you go forward from there. A short capital raise is 6, 7, 8 months. A long capital raise, building everything, you might have to sell all of your first year's offtake. Everything is so unique and different. So a capital raise can take a short time or it can take a long time. Every deal is different. Hope that answers the question.
Yes, it certainly does. And I trust the audience to have taken away. Based on the financial instrument, you can get approval within a few hours. Approval doesn't mean access immediately. The access may come in a week to 2 weeks. But when it comes to the SEC and raising capital, investor capital, growth capital, private equity capital, depending on where you're at, you may not have that perspective. You may not have the business plan that has to be developed. It's going to take research because you can do speculation and present your perspectives to investors because they're going to throw it in the bin. So you have to have data again, and this is where data comes in. You want to know your market size, density, and dispersion. You want to know your ID client where they are. So it goes deep into that and how you're going to position yourself to take a percentage of that market. So depending on where you are, you can be approved within a couple of days or in a couple of months, depending on the type of capital and that you want. And Paul, as time progresses, I know that we haven't gone deep into the financial analysis, and we are so far dealing with high level overview of financial instruments and the various topics in which we are talking about. But as time progresses, we will do that deep dive to really help our listeners to better understand, each of the instruments and how we can really help them to win in access to capital. With that being said, our hour comes and goes so fast, and we are now at the end of the program, and I feel as though we have only just begun. I know you're checking your time because you can't believe it neither, right? So I want to ask Paul to, I trust that the audience, first of all, would have enjoyed today's program. Just before we close out, I want to encourage the audience to go back to the bestseller portal. This program comes to you with the kind compliments of the bestseller portal. A lot of what we discussed today, even on the financial instruments, we have many books on our website that can help you to better understand financial instruments. So go to the website bestsellerportal.org, and when you go to that portal, I want you to press on products. Now, when you press on products, I want you to also press on ebooks. Now, when you press on ebooks, you will see a number of books that we have here. We have 11 volumes of master the sales communication process, and you owe it to yourself, if you're in business, to get these books. They are audiobooks. They're going to teach you so much about business and marketing and different financial instruments. You will even learn about capital that you could access at 0% APR for 6, 12, or 24 months. And think about that. All of that is here. So you can make yourself useful and go to that website, get the information. I also want to say this: in business, if you don't have visibility, you're going to be on demand. You're going to be compromised as a business leader. You need visibility, you need reach, you need impact. You need to be able to make client conversion, cash flow optimization. We can help you with that also. Go to the website, go to services, and you all would also see that we provide all types of advertising services. So we're not only telling you how to go about the brand building process and the marketing process. We have an entire ecosystem that's going to produce your ads for radio, for television, for newspaper. And guess what else? We're not stopping there, because we talk a lot about matrix and we talk about data analytics. We're going to put your ads on platforms where you will be able to know how many women or men are looking at your program, and from where in the world and which particular state. We believe in data so much that we have built relationship with platforms that allows you to be able to measure your advertising dollars and know the effectiveness of your advertising dollars. So I've said a lot here today, and looking forward to hearing from you in terms of getting the support that you need to grow and scale your business. With that being said, Paul, I want to ask you to give your closing remarks as we begin to wrap up today's program. All to you, Paul.
Thanks, Gary. Well, my closing remarks are stop waiting. If you need it, let's go. Let's do it. We want business. We want to grow our business. That's what we're here for every day, to do deals and grow our business. I'd like to do I'd like to do 10 deals a day, right? I'd love that. I want to do that. But to do that, I need you. I need you to want to expand your business, to need new equipment. If you don't need it, I'm not here to give you something you don't need, except, I'm here to help. But if you do need it and you know that's the case, then let's go. Let's stop waiting. If you think you got difficult credit and you're not going to get approved, stop worrying. Let us worry for you. We'll get it done. Here's the facts. Difficult credit equals money down for equipment and real estate financing. But it can get accomplished. It's not off the table for you. Is it hard to get the money down? Maybe. You might have it already. If you got a successful business, difficult credit, you might have a bunch of cash. Hopefully you do. But we want to take you to where you got a bunch of cash. So just stop waiting. Call us wherever you're at in your business cycle and growth. We're here to help. We can help from many different angles, and we want to help you out. Let's do this.
All right, thanks for that share, Paul. Stop procrastinating. All right, you
Yeah.
don't have to procrastinate. All right, we all have been where you might be right now. All right, we have break through the season of those difficulties, so we know how to navigate those rough terrains. So we want to now give back to you. So as Paul would have said, stop waiting. Reach out to us now. All right. So again, I want to encourage you to like, subscribe, and share, so you will be the first to get this program whenever we come live, and that's regularly. And call a friend. Always call, share this information with a friend. So, they're in business, they can get this type of information that can help them to make better, smarter business decision. And with that being said, I want to thank you, the audience that are going to be viewing this program in the live, are going to be viewing the program in the rebroadcast. I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today. And just remember that we are here to help. And as Paul would have said, stop waiting, stop procrastinating. Be blessed, and see you in the next broadcast.